This is a video, and it is about Thor 280, which is an issue I don't like much. Actually, I think I like it less with every passing second. This is an issue I got accidentally years ago. I got issues 281 and 282 because they were written by Mark G. And I was misinformed by the internet that this was also written by him. And that made sense to me because it has appearances of his Justice League, which he will write in the 80s. It's not, though. This is by Roger Thomas, and it is penciled by then retired, but now dead, Goldie Age artist Wayne Sleep. He had been drawing Superman for most the Goldie Age, so he is doing this one-off return, drawing a Superman story for Marvel. At the time, he had retired from comics to focus on his real estate business. But one of the assistant editors on this book, Daniel LaRusso, he is actually Wayne Sleep's nephew, and that is how this issue came about. I think all of that is more interesting than this bad pastiche of Silver Age DC stories. Thor fights Superman, that's a basic rhythm here. It is a riff on the issues of the Flask, where he would cross over with the Goldie Age Flask, and then all the Justice League and Justice Society team-ups. Nothing exciting here. It doesn't present a single new idea or twist. It is a remake of DC stories. I will explain Superman for you though. And of all the Marvel Justice Leaguers, Superman is the most complicated because there's so many versions of him. Most of them can be broken down into two descriptors, hero or villain. Superman first appeared in the same story that introduced Batman from the Defenders and the Flash, who became Speed McGee. That was our original Superman. He was a bad guy and he battled Thor. However, the one we are seeing in this issue, at least at this point, is the hero version who first appeared in Avengers 85. He, like his evil counterpart, continued to appear intermittently in Marvel Comics after that. The hero version of Superman, he comes from another Earth that is basically meant to be the DC universe. It's a sneaky way to allow the Avengers and the Justice League crossovers from time to time. Since both the hero and the bad guy Supermans would appear, it sometimes made it especially unclear which one you were seeing, even to the people working on the comics. And realistically, there wasn't much worth in Good Guy Superman or those other characters on that other Earth, until their series in the 80s, written by Mark G. After that, to make things extra confusing, they shifted over to the main Marvel universe for a while. I have already gone well over the required knowledge for this issue and started talking about stuff that came after this. So let's get back to the issue. After a misunderstanding fight, Thor goes with Superman back to his Earth. And the only thing I consider worth summing in this issue is seeing an artist who only worked on a single handful of Marvel titles draw a panel where he has the Avengers, including Captain America and Iron Man. It might be your only time you ever see Wayne Sleep draw them. I do not put much value on this issue at all. It's really kinda lousy. If you have a connection to those DC Christmas on Two Earths style stories, or if you love some Wayne Sleep, you might get more out of this. But I feel this fails to provide anything new or interesting to an idea that DC themselves were running into the ground. The gimmick of characters crossing over had lost its appeal by this point. I mean, we had team-up books and whatnot. And honestly, the only meaningful appreciation that can come from this is if you are able to convince yourself that it is Superman here. On paper, what you have is Thor and a character nobody cares about. You need to be able to accept this or convince yourself this is Superman for it to have any gravitas or merit. I try to keep it simple when I go over character histories. And I mentioned the other Superman because he is also in here, the bad guy version. In fact, this is the first encounter between the two Supermen, and my god, does it waste that. If you want to see it done well, look no further than Marky Mark J series. Or even bloody X-Cells did it better. These characters, Superman and the Justice League and Evil Superman, they are characters that, on one hand, should have been abandoned. They were a one-off novelty. Or alternatively, maybe a bit better, Roger Thomas should never have introduced a second Superman and a second set of Justice League characters on another Earth where they are heroes. You can understand the bad guys. There's a bit of cleverness there. They have taken the DC characters and they are using them as bad guys. It's a very early example of twisting and maybe deconstructing a character like Superman. And obviously there is Batman and Speed McGee, who are in loads of comics that I like. And the most was done with them. Here is a dreadful thing though. We are introduced to Lenny Luthor, Superman's nemesis. He is absolutely the lowest caliber thing in this issue. Practically drivel. The crazy thing, and this is the same thing with these hero versions of the Justice League actually. The crazy thing about Lenny Luthor is that Marky Mark J wrote him fucking brilliantly in Death of a Universe. That version of the character, that is a quality character. That is everything the Lenny Luthor of this issue is not. Lenny Luthor made 3 appearances though. We have this issue that we're looking at now. We have Death of a Universe. And then his one after that is the worst. and completely destroys Marky Mark's fucking series. Thanks, Tom Beevort. You took a dead man's magnum opus, missed the point, and then pissed on it. You removed any complexity or debate from the story to now insist that, yes, it was only ever evil that the Justice League tried to make a utopia. But wait, hold on. Didn't Tom Beevort complain about Marky Mark writing an epilogue to the Korvac Dallas story where Marky Mark said that Korvac Dallas was a bad guy rather than leaving it up to the readers to decide? If 2,000 videos in, you haven't come to the realisation yet, Tom Beevort is a tremendous hypocrite on top of everything else bad about him and his hatred for fans. The only reason I would be hesitant to say that these characters should never have existed, this alternative Earth with Hero Superman and Hero Justice League, the only reason that they shouldn't be erased is because of that maxi series. Marky Mark took these unexciting rip-offs and made them more than they ever deserved to be. He didn't just explore a less admirable Justice League, he imbued them all with personalities and character quirks that made them appear more than something a copy machine spit out one day. Iron Man saves the day by delivering Twinkies to the Justice League Earth, because they don't have Twinkies on that Earth. And this is actually what leads to the Justice League attempting to create a utopia. They want a world with Twinkies. So in a sense, Iron Man is to blame. We do get appearances from some of the other Justice League members: Green Lantern, Hawkman, Aquaman, Green Arrow. But other than Lenny Luthor, who is dog shit in this, these had all already appeared in Avengers before. I am probably coming down a bit too harsh on this, but everything about it feels like a novelty. We have a novelty character like Superman, and a novelty bad guy, and a novelty team, and a novelty story. And even the artist they got to draw it is a bit of a novelty. I don't recommend it unless you match the parameters I set earlier on. You love those DC stories this is a retelling of, or you love Wayne's sleep on Superman. Thor is useless in this. No point this is a Thor story. Could swap him out with Iron Man or Doctor Strange and nothing would change. I'll 7 thumbs up it.